The next module we're going to go through is one of my favorite concepts. In fact, it might be my most favorite concept of what we teach here, and that is the passive income paradox. So we're going to go through in this module how the passive income paradox works. And this whole idea got developed because you're going to see a lot of crap on the internet where everybody is like, oh, get rich through real estate. And it's everybody wants to be on the beach because they bought a few rentals or did a few flips. And that's just not how it works. And so I've worked with people in the past that their active income's increasing, their passive income's increasing, but they're like, hey, it's not like Robert Kiyosaki said, where my passive income equals my expenses and I can quit my job. And it's just, I've worked with too many people and it's just like, I'm like, well, let's do that thought experiment. Let's say you were in the beach. How long till you got bored? And they're like, I don't know, 2 weeks. So it's like, and these are like highly successful people making $500,000 a year. I'm like, why are you disappointed that now you're bringing in like $4,000 or $5,000 of passive income, but sure, your living expenses are 20. And I'm going to kind of get to that, how with constant expansion, like you don't want to be thinking to yourself, oh, if I get to this amount of houses, then I can quit my job. Like these houses augment your wealth, help build your wealth, and then sure, set you up that after a long time period, like 10 years, maybe then you can start taking on passive income to replace the active income that you're already highly successful for. And then here's just a quick story. One of the first houses I sold to was an Uber driver. And he was saying, hey, my living expenses are only $4,000 a month. If I get so many houses that give me $4,000 a month, then I can quit my job. I had to learn this the hard way. But as soon as he had a tenant turn, he didn't have the cash to do the house. So he had to hit the eject button. But passive income comes after hyperactive active income. And so let's just kind of go through, knowing that's the constraint, that's the problem. Let's go through what the passive income paradox means. So, and the previous modules we already talked about, like investing in real estate and making it in a passive manner, all it does is completely crush the 4% rule. You're going to be able to amass wealth much faster than anybody else with any standard retirement or wealth building strategy. And so what you'll see is, if you're watching this video, you're probably in the pre-launch phase. Just like a rocket having to take off, it's going to take, you see all the smoke, you see all the billowing, it's like boom, 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 just to get off the ground. And that's what investing in real estate feels like in the beginning. You got to learn everything. It goes slow. You make a few mistakes and you're like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to outer space. But don't worry about it. What happens is you have pre-launch phase where you're not moving that fast and sometimes it gets frustrating. And then you're in the launch. Launch happens between 1 and 3 years generally. For example, you guys will see him in the community, Stephen Grigg. He bought 20 houses in 3 years. And he originally thought for him to be able to retire, he'd have to have 50 houses. But he understands equity milling. It's a concept we're going to go later on a course. And he understands how these assets actually create wealth. So now he's like, Jimmy, I'm pretty much done. 20 houses, I might rearrange. If I see a cool deal, I'll take it. But he got through launch stage. Now he's in gravity stage. What happens in gravity stage? He's letting his assets appreciate. He's letting his tenants pay down his mortgage. He's enjoying the tax advantages, and he's putting some cash flow in his pocket. And then after 10 years, you guys have seen the numbers, what it looks like after 10 years. Then you're in lifestyle. You're in orbit. And then, yes, maybe if you choose, you could stop hitting the gas as hard as you need to for active income. A lot of the wealth is created in years 3 to 10. You make the decisions, and a lot of the activity goes on from years 1 to 3. But most of the wealth is created between years 3 and 10 as the asset keeps appreciating, the tenant pays down the mortgage, and most importantly, you're getting that rent increase year over year over year. So that's kind of how it works. So what else is happening in all that time? Well, here's what I believe is happening. Here's what I've seen with our most successful members inside the community and the most successful investors I've worked with. Because like, big disclaimer, you guys know me. I run in circles with real estate investors. I know no one who has done this for less than 10 years that is just sitting, living off the cash flow from their assets. It's a big myth. Hopefully I just blew that myth apart for you, because a lot of people, if I just buy more and more houses, one day I'll be able to quit my job. And that's not how it works. And even though they're becoming massively wealthier, they're disappointed. So this is where I came up with this passive income paradox. And so as you see on the Y coordinate, knowledge, experience, network, and on the right is time. So here's what happens. Generally, to get passive income, you got to have hyperactive active income. So we have already highly successful individuals come into this community and go through this education program because they want to start investing in real estate and build their wealth. Some people say they want to quit their job. Those people are not very successful in this program. Next is they use that active income to buy an asset. That asset gives them a little taste of passive income. And they're like, wow. And I remember this for me. I was like, wow, that was awesome. What do I have to do to get more of that? And the answer was more active income. So I could buy more assets so I could get more passive income. And in that time is going on. And I'm getting more knowledgeable, more experience, getting a deeper network, and I'm becoming a better investor. So what ends up happening is your active income grows and your passive income grows and your net worth grows. But if you're using the Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad paradigm of, oh, I just need so many assets, as soon as I get that amount of passive income, I can quit. It just is a recipe for unhappiness. Now, if you're using it as a recipe for expansion that, hey, I need more active income to get more passive income, then you start growing, then you start becoming more productive. And so I know I've been talking a little smack about Kiyosaki in this module, but if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's what happened to him. He figured out how to sell. He got active income. He bought his first condo in Hawaii. And then he was able to get a little bit of passive income. And he says in the book, he became a better salesman he worked for Xerox. More active income, allowed more assets. And then he says he retired at 40, but that's not true. The dude's still working right now. Maybe he got to open up his own business, but he definitely didn't get to retire and sit on the beach. Dude's like 80 now and still working, still slinging education. For me, myself, I just talked about it. I got that first taste of passive income. Like, what do I got to do more? And it was sell more, get bigger commissions checks. I was like, cool, which allowed me to get more assets, which allowed me to become more productive. And even in my business right now, I have an active business in real estate and I have a rental passive portfolio. And so when I want more rentals, what do I need to do? I got to become a better business leader. I got to become a better business owner, grow bigger and better teams. What do I do with that hyperactive income? I put it into assets that give me passive income and grow my wealth and grow my balance sheet. 2000 is when I bought my first house. 2016 is when I had enough assets and enough cushion that I could go take a swing at starting my own business. And that was awesome. But still, I'm addicted to the passive income paradox back here. I want to keep expanding. I want to keep growing. I want to keep getting more confidence. And then another guy, Derek, I have a bunch of YouTube videos with him. Same thing. He got 14 assets. In like 5 years, he had something like a 400% return, but he kept getting more and more promotions, more and more active income. And so why not? He was still a great saver, but why would he stay in a scarcity mindset? So just so he didn't have to apply his trade. So his expenses started growing. Of course, he was a responsible saver, but he had more kids. He was making more money. So why not spend a little bit more? So his living expenses kept growing because he was having more fun and doing other things. You don't have to live in this like fire movement. He was enjoying life. He was growing. And so what happened is he kept getting more and more productive. So it was harder and harder to buy more and more houses. So one day he could quit, but he has like a 400% return on his investment. He's like, Jimmy, why do I feel so weird? I'm like, dude, this is a passive income paradox. You got a little taste of passive income, which made you want to become more productive, to get more active income, which allowed you to buy more assets. And so he's like, oh, I get it now. And like Derek, using real estate, he's been able to use the tax advantages so that he had 1 year where he paid zero tax on his active income. He does have enough equity that his wife was able to quit a very lucrative pharmaceutical job. The details are in the YouTube video. And then finally, it wasn't like he wanted to quit his job, but he wanted something of his own. And so he got the itch to be a small business owner. I talked to him about, hey, the trials and tribulations of doing that. Are you sure you want to do that? Why not go talk to the owner of your current business? You're already a COO, and just say, hey, I really am passionate about having something of my own, but it doesn't have to be all my own. And I would like the opportunity to earn equity. And he had a very open and honest conversation. And guess what? Since he continued to be more productive, more valuable, the owner of the company gave him the option to buy into equity of the business. So like that's a perfect example of the passive income paradox. And because my fundamental belief is that you're aiming up in any area of your life, everything else will grow. And so for me personally, my team, we run this with my team, but you'll grow in the 5 F's: faith, family, friends, fitness, finances. As you experience the passive income paradox and you get more confidence in achieving goals, then maybe, hey, you have a fitness goal, but you're more confident. So your fitness goal, you achieve your fitness goal. You're like, hey, maybe I have a friend and a family goal and a faith goal. And now maybe I find purpose and meaning in my faith and whatever it is. But hey, if I can hit a target financially, maybe I can hit a target in my faith life. For example, me, I do a spiritual 75 hard every year, and it's 90 days. We had to pray an hour a day. We had to work out an hour a day. We had to read 10 pages of a spiritual book. And then Wednesdays and Fridays, we fasted. And because I knew I had the discipline from fitness, I knew I could, with the grace of God, get through the faith challenge. But bottom line is, a rising tide raises all ships. And then here's the other problem. You got to keep increasing the 5Fs, because if you don't, let's say you let your family life fall off just because you want more rentals or want to become a real estate mogul. Like, who cares how many houses you have if you don't have your family? Now, why not use the confidence you learn from investing to invest in your family? That's what I've experienced myself. That's what's helped me a lot. You got to be growing, I believe, in all 5Fs, or it's just not worth doing really any of it. What would be the point of having a great family life but not being able to be healthy? What would be the point of not having a great family life but not being able to achieve goals financially? I like to be a role model for my kids to say, hey, I can set a target and hit it. So my point is once again, a rising tide raises all ships. And so this is a great thing I've learned from Dan Sullivan. This is not mine. But what happens in any one of the 5Fs, and generally in this community, people investing in real estate, this is how it works. You take the F of finances and you say, I'm going to make a commitment to buy X amount of houses to increase my net worth X amount. And you guys are new in here. You're probably nervous it'll work. Whenever you're nervous or scared, it requires courage. Courage isn't not being afraid. Like when I was jumping out of planes, I was always afraid. Courage isn't not being afraid. It's doing what you committed to do, even though you're afraid. Keep moving, even though you're afraid. Jumping out of planes, all I had to do was step out of the plane, but I had to commit to keep taking that step till I got to the final step and jumped out of the plane. Next, once you go through courage, we'll keep going with the jumping out of planes analogy. Now you have the capability to jump out of planes, which gave me a ton of confidence to go do other things that scared me. It's the same thing financially. Once again, you make a commitment to buy the house, you show courage, you keep going. Now you have a new capability to analyze the deal and be a successful investor, which gives you confidence to do other things, to maybe take a faith target, maybe take a friend's target. Like me personally, I just got back from a big trip to Cooperstown, New York with my college roommate from West Point and a couple other of my buddies. To build my business, to build the financial quadrant, I let some of those relationships fall off. I hadn't stayed connected and I was feeling a void. And so even though my F for finances was doing well, I wanted my F for friends to go up, which was great because what paid for that? Hitting bigger targets in finances. So that's just a quick thing on the 5Fs. That's what I run my life on, my team on. And then there is a target setting workshop where I invite you guys to do the same thing. That'll be at the end of this course. If you like the 5Fs, great. I think it's very helpful. If you don't, no big deal. Keep driving on. But what you'll see, here's a great example of what I believe happens with the passive income paradox. This is a clip from the movie Office Space. If you haven't seen the movie, this guy here, the lazy looking guy, decided he's going to work just hard enough not to get fired because he just doesn't care anymore. And so check out this scene.
Would you walk us through a typical day for you?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour. Till I'm
Space out?
Yeah, I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work. The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
Don't care?
It's a problem of motivation, all right? Now, if I work my ass off and Initech ships a few extra units, I don't see another dime. So where's the motivation?
And here's something else, Bob. I have 8 different bosses right now.
Beg your pardon?
8 bosses.
8?
8, Bob. So that means that when I make a mistake, I have 8 different people coming by to tell me about it. That's my only real motivation, is not to be hassled. That and the fear of losing my job. But you know, Bob, that'll only make someone work just hard enough not to get fired.
This is amazing what happens as a passive income paradox. Because now that you're not white knuckling, having to go to work and feeling like you have to be there, that you get to be there because it's fueling some of your other financial dreams and becoming an investor, generally you lose a little bit of the angst. So then you're able to be open-minded. You're able to speak freely because just like Derek knew he had something to fall back on. And Even though a lot of people get into real estate so they can quit their job and they become more productive, they generally get promoted because now they feel the ability to be honest. So that's the ultimate result of the passive income paradox is now you're management material because you're not white knuckling everything and you have a better attitude at work. Essentially what happens is you get confidence and you go from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. So you start seeing ways to improve. And you might be saying to yourself, Jimmy, that's a little crazy because I bought a few rental houses. It might be, but I've just seen too many people go through this and see this passive income paradox. It's my favorite thing about running this program and doing educational videos like this. So that's all I got for this. This is the passive income paradox, and I'll see you on the next video.